Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and busts. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, dozens of arrests in New York City at the Hilton Hotel in Tribeca. And it was after ICE had to deal with a whole bunch of headaches. Once again, what happened was these anti-ICE protesters showed up at the hotel, said, hey, I understand ICE agents are staying here. And then they would not leave. They were all dressed up in pretty similar T-shirts with similar messages, pre-produced signs. Sure sounds like they got some financial backing. It doesn't sound like some organic protest. And finally, luckily, the NYPD arrested them for being unruly and destroying property there. So thank goodness that happened. And guess what the unit was that actually did the busting? It was the Strategic Response Group. It's the same group that Zoran Mondani said that he wants to delete from the NYPD. It's the same one that responds to protests all the time. That's why they're so good. That's why they're called the Strategic Response Group. These guys and gals are the best of the best. They're the ones that respond to when there was that mass shooter in Midtown, New York City. It was that group that responded. Whenever there are unruly protests, it's that group that responds. And Zoran Mondani, during the campaign, the mayor of New York, now the mayor, of course, he said this before, during, and after becoming mayor, he has come out and said that he wants to get rid of this group because he feels this group is infringing on protesters' rights. Thank goodness for the Strategic Response Group that they showed up at the Hilton last night and were able to put these thugs in handcuffs, because that's what they are. You don't show up at a hotel anywhere in this country and say, get out of here, ICE. And they were equating ICE to KKK. They were chanting. It was really scary. What about people that were staying at that hotel? What about neighbors? What about people who worked at the hotel? It's absolutely not free speech. That's not a peaceful protest across the street, talking about workers' rights or talking about whatever. No, that is crossing the line. They took over the lobby, were destroying things, shouting vile, virulent things, and terrifying people inside that hotel and outside. So I'm happy to say that at least 70 of them get arrested, but I want to find out who bails them out. Won't that be interesting, guys? That's a big question that we talk about here on the Rita Cosby Show. Who is funding these people and who might bail them out? Remember, during the, quote, Summer of Love, it was Kamala Harris, remember, who said, donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which were the protesters in Minneapolis that helped burn that city to the ground, including the police station. So will people like Kamala Harris donate to bail out these guys who are like taking over the Hilton Hotel in New York? Well, listen to Zoran Mondani, because this was interesting. He puts out a statement today, and in it, he praises, quote, the peaceful protesters, like they were singing, Mary Poppins while they were there. And then he kind of takes issue and he says, I also want to thank the NYPD essentially for not becoming violent. That's my paraphrase. But in other words, thank you for these beautiful, peaceful protests. And thank you, NYPD, for not crossing the line like you always do. That's how I read it. And that's how a lot of people read it. Shame on Zoran Mondani. And I'm really worried when the weather gets warmer, because it's freezing cold in New York like it is in Minneapolis. And he's only become mayor now, It's only been, it's not even been a month, because it was the beginning of this month. It's getting close to a month. But wait till the protests really start heating up. Wait till the protests really start getting out of control like we saw, especially in the summer months as things warm up. then we'll really see the test of mettle of this guy. We've already seen some things, and it doesn't look good because it's interesting. What is the future of the Strategic Response Group, who he should be praising left and right? They're the best of the best, and thank goodness we have it. But crazy mayors don't just, they're not exclusive just to New York. Take the windy city of Chicago, and boy, is this frightening rhetoric. You have to hear this. This is coming from Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, who has talked about the fact that they have about 40 different lawsuits right now, 40 lawsuits against the Trump administration and ICE. And here is what he said today about how far they will go against ICE. Listen, this is a sitting mayor.
It's unfortunate that Greg Bovino's, that his legacy will take time for people to understand how nasty of an individual he really is. It's powerful that we have been able to effectively push back at local levels as well as in the courts around Gregory Bovino's activities. His dressing, his whole package, it is so familiar that I believe that it was blinding for some people. That it's clear, there's two things. One, it's clear that the far right in this country, that they have not accepted the results of the Civil War, and that they have longed for a rematch to have a republic that subjugates and subjects individuals to a permanent lower class. And that, again, when we have witnessed the largest upward transfer of wealth in any other time in American history, there's your evidence of the type of stratification that the extreme right in this country prefers.
And then listen to this and the way he describes federal law enforcement. Again, a sitting mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, look, after what we've seen in the streets of this country, we have to seriously look at how local government can ultimately not just bring charges and investigation against the federal overreach, but how we can create a process that allows for prosecution of these individuals. On the streets across this country, federal agents are being directed by the Trump administration to shoot and kill. And my team is working overtime to locate measures that I can use through my executive authority to not just hold people accountable, but to ensure that there's a mechanism in which that can take place.
Shooting, they're getting directions to shoot and kill, like it's like the OK Corral. I think these people have lost their minds. Now, I found that bite from Zoran Mondani. This is him talking about the Strategic Response Group that is the elite that responds to these protests that are probably going to get a lot worse in New York City.
I know on the campaign trail you talked about disbanding the SRG. Is that an inefficiency? Could you see disbanding it? I believe that it would save the city, if we didn't have that SRG, like over $100 million.
So I'll start with the second question and then go to the first. Yes, I continue to believe that we need to disband the SRG. And I'm currently in conversations with the police commissioner about the ways in which we can do so that are operational. And I believe that we should do so not on the basis of any fiscal need, but frankly on the need to decouple the counterterrorism responsibilities within the department from police response to First Amendment exercise.
If the SRG is disbanded, would it be replaced with a similar unit that does similar things that police protest?
We don't believe that there should be a unit that has both counterterrorism responsibilities and responsibilities to responding to protests. The conflation of the two is part of this issue.
Given what you're you're saying, did you know that the SRG was going to be at this anti-ICE protest just a few blocks away from here last night? And are you concerned by that at all?
We know that until we deliver this in an operational manner, that the SRG will continue to be used. And that is why we are hard at work to resolving this issue.
No, that you don't, given that their focus is counterterrorism also, that you don't want them at protests for now. Have you said that? Then why not?
The NYPD continues to respond to protests, as is their responsibility. And we have also emphasized the need for all of those responses, as always, to be ones that respect New Yorkers' exercising of First Amendment activity. And I think...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think that to add that I also commend New Yorkers who exercise their constitutional right to protest, especially in bringing attention to the horrific abuses of ICE across this country, and I think especially right now in Minneapolis.
That's incredible. So he's still standing by getting rid of the SRG. I'll keep them until we can figure out separating, and then we'll just have you do... Some other unit will do the terrorism, the counterterrorism unit will do that. And then maybe we'll send, social workers to the protests, because protests never get out of hand. Right, Zoran Mondani?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype. No myths, just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.